We're here today to sign a bill and a law that's going to improve our legal system, making the process fairer for all parties, as well as to help protect Louisiana's lands. This important bill is a part of our legislative package, and today many of the parties came together to the table to make it possible. Indeed, when I gave my opening remarks to the session, I said one of our three priorities for this session was to crack down on frivolous lawsuits and better protect Louisiana's lands and economy and coastal areas. And that's why I'm so proud to be here today to be signing Senate Bill 667 by Senator Adley into law. This legislation will not only protect Louisiana's land and coast, but will also improve the legal climate in our state by helping to deter frivolous lawsuits that delay cleanup of precious resources. Senate Bill 667 is a key compromise that will promote the fair resolution of legacy claims and the remediation of property while discouraging the exploitation of lawsuits for money. Legacy claims are known as disputes between landowners and oil and gas companies related to impacts to property and resources as a result of exploration and production activities. There have been multiple attempts over the years to address these disputes, but a fair solution had not been obtained. That is until Senator Adley, landowners, and energy companies stepped up to the table to work together with us on a compromise. They knew the self-inflicted wounds of frivolous lawsuits had gone on long enough. It was past time that we all worked together to develop a consensus approach. Now, this is a difficult issue. It involves operations conducted in many cases decades ago, standards that have evolved over time as technology has improved, and changing ownership of properties and lease rights. It's also difficult because it involves, on one hand, an industry that has been the cornerstone of our economy for the past century, and on the other hand, land rights and environmental concerns that are critical to our way of life. Thankfully, all of those parties came together to create a great solution in Senate Bill 667. First, the legislation provides that if a responsible party admits liability for a regulatory cleanup, there'll be a rebuttable presumption that the cleanup plan approved or structured by DNR is the most feasible plan to evaluate or remediate environmental damage under the applicable regulatory standards. This presumption will be charged to the jury. Secondly, the legislation clarifies the types of damages that may be recovered in a legacy lawsuit and the standards for recovering those damages. This eliminates gamesmanship and provides predictability to the oil and gas companies while also protecting landowners so they're able to collect actual damages to which they're entitled. Third, the legislation allows for attorney's fees in favor of a party who's dismissed on a motion for preliminary dismissal. This new provision will discourage scattershot claims by making the plaintiff responsible for paying the cost of attorney fees incurred by the defendant to obtain a preliminary dismissal. Fourth, and finally, the new law will define contamination to mean the introduction or presence of substances or contaminants into a usable groundwater, aquifer, or soil in such quantities so as to render them unsuitable for their reasonably intended purposes. The exploitation of our legal system destroys its purpose and discourages investment by an industry that has continued to grow our economy over the past century. A fair legal system, on the other hand, is critical to protecting the rights of our citizens who have legitimate claims as well as the rights of those who are accused of wrongdoing. This bill is going to help deter frivolous claims and ensure our legal system is fair for those that need it most. But most importantly, it's also going to protect and clean up Louisiana lands for generations to come. Many have come together to work hard on this bill. I'm proud to sign it into law. And again, I want to thank everybody for working so hard together on this. Again, the whole intent of this bill is to better protect our lands, stop wasting time and money on frivolous lawsuits, and instead protect our environment. With that, I recognize, I didn't introduce Jim Justice, who has been here when we announced the bill before. I want to thank him and some of the other landowners that have traveled to be here as well. With that, I'm going to ask Robert if he'd like to make some remarks, and then the speaker, and then anybody else up here who may want to talk about the bill. I will then go over here and actually sign the bill into law, and then I'll come back and be happy to take media questions. But with that, let me ask Senator Adley to come to the podium.
Governor, thank you. Governor, I think most of us are ready to get on with this signing. It has been a courageous battle, frankly, that have fought by a lot of people that started with Mr. Justice as he had the foresight in his company to put together what was needed to reach a compromise between landowners and the industry. Lobby and their efforts, especially you, Mr. Speaker, and what you did, Mr. Abramson and the work you did, Senator Allen and the work that he did. All of them played a key role, but I can tell you I never saw a group of people work so hard for the good of a state to finally get to a point to where we can start cleaning up things here rather than just fighting in court and putting money in people's pockets. It's in the people's interest that we get to a point where we do get it cleaned up. I think we're much closer with this. And Governor, without your help, it clearly would not have happened. So with that, sir, I would ask that you sign that bill as quick as you can before anybody...
Thank you, Robert.
I would also like to thank the governor, Senator Adley, but also my chairman, Representative Dove and Chairman Abramson, for their hard work and their commitment in getting this legislation through. I came here in 2005, and this has been an issue since I became a legislator. So I want to thank those guys. I want to thank everybody that participated. I know this was a total team effort. And in about 2 hours and 35 minutes, we're adjourned and signing die. That's news of the day.
That's good.